Good morning. Let's have a beautiful day at Kennedy Space Center. Really looking forward to hearing astronaut Woody Spring speak later today. We'll have more on that. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning. The sun is shining. 2 days away from launch, hopefully. That's right, baby. Alright, so today's journey started off going to the newest building at Kennedy Space Center, which is Gateway. It's the future and now of what's happening with NASA and all their partnerships with Boeing and SpaceX and so on and so forth. It's a beautiful building, and the exhibits at Kennedy Space Center are beautiful. The technology that they're using to make it very interactive. You just have to go there and experience it using your shadow, using your motions with your body. It's really fascinating to see. They also have some simulators there. This is something really big with Artemis I, is that they're focusing on CubeSats. There's going to be 10 of them on board Artemis I, and these are basically micro-satellites that are going to have experiments on them to test in deep space and in outer space and all over the place. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. So there's a bunch of different ones that are going to happen. In terms of the moon, there's a lunar ice cube that's from Morehead State University in Kentucky, searching for water in all forms on the moon. There's another one from Japan, which is also developing the world's smallest lunar lander and studying the lunar environment. Asteroid. Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, traveling by solar sail to a near-Earth asteroid and taking pictures and other characterizations of its surface. Other missions like deep space radiation and its effects on biology, especially DNA. There's lots of different things that are happening with CubeSats, and it's really awesome that they've been able to develop something so small and tiny that's going to provide a lot of information to scientists, and that it's part of this mission. Those are going to launch out as part of this mission. So it's not just a test for going back to the moon, but it's launching these CubeSats that are going to be very, very important on providing information back from a very international type of thing. All right, out at the Apollo Saturn V Center, where there's a Saturn V rocket. Really awesome pre-show. As a Disney adult, pre-shows are something we're used to, but that pre-show is pretty awesome just to get you prepped for it. In the background, let's go over there. Boom. There's SLS. Let's watch it on Saturday, hopefully. Then off in the distance over there, you have the VAB. Pretty awesome view. If you come to Kennedy Space Center, please make sure you go to the Apollo Saturn V Center. Pretty awesome. One more look. Bam. At the Apollo Saturn V Center, you also get to experience what it was like in launch control, and then you get a look at a real Saturn V. And now to what was obviously the highlight of the day, is getting to talk with an astronaut. So astronaut Woody Spring, he's on STS-61B as a mission specialist. He's up there for 1 week. He's also a Vietnam veteran. He's with the 101st Airborne. He's a Navy test pilot as well. And so obviously very, very well qualified to be on the shuttle. So I had a chance to ask a few questions to astronaut Woody Spring. There's lots of training that goes into a spacewalk, lots of simulation that goes into it, but
Absolutely.
What was different from the training and the simulation when you actually were out there doing it?
Okay. We do have to do a lot of training. We did, since we were planning on doing the 2 spacewalks, 5.5 hours on the first one, 6.5 hours on the second one. So it was how hard can we make astronauts work in orbit. They were building a model of me and my musculature. Just, it wasn't shows for anything special. Just I was doing this one. Okay. But I still remember on the first spacewalk, before we went outside, okay, my prayer was, "Oh Lord, please don't let me screw up." As you can imagine. My son was in the Olympics, and my prayer for him was, "Oh Lord, please don't let him screw up." If you fall off, he's a gymnast, so if you fall off the apparatus, you knock the United States out of competition. It's 3 up, 3 count, and no pressure. And so I remember, "Oh Lord, please don't let me screw up." And we've already depressed, so we're in a vacuum, but the sun shield is still up. And I'm concerned, I hope the train was up and whatever. I remember pushing the sun shield down just like the water tank. And from then on, it was a piece of cake, except for one incident, which if somebody asks, I'll tell you, but I won't. I'm not going to go on the end of the arm and take down the top bay. I'm not particularly afraid of heights, okay? I respect heights. A helicopter at 5,000 feet is cool. That same helicopter at 10,000 feet is not. You fly the little jets, the NASA jet, that thing is lovely at 45,000 feet, but you try to top a thunderstorm at 65,000 feet, you're on the hairy edge of what it's capable of doing, and if it falls off, you're not going to die for it. You're just going to not be able to hold up your altitude. You go down and then level off at altitude again. So there I am. Okay, orbital velocity is 17,500 miles an hour. You're not going that fast, you're not on Earth. So there I am at 110 miles high, going 17,500 miles an hour outside of the payload bed. No problem with heights, everything is cool. Okay, then I get on the end of this arm, and Mary's taking me up in jump school. Okay, I was there one way back when I was young and stupid. They use a 32-foot tower that they have you jump out, because that's high enough that it just, you get the sensation of height, or you get the fear of height and things like that. So maybe it was exactly 32 feet out of the payload bed. But as she's lifting me up, all of a sudden I got that, holy, oh my God. And I remember reaching around, because I'd taken this toolbar, this tool caddy and put it behind me, rotate around. I'm going to take down that top bed. And so I put that around me, and all of a sudden, and I remember turning around and grabbing a hold of that tool caddy, there's probably still fingerprints in it, and now you got to talk yourself out of the tree. Okay, you're on orbit, they got video cameras on, you're going to sit here and freeze, or you're going to do your job. So you're tethered, everything's cool, and probably took 5 to 10 seconds to get my act back together again, and went back up to the top and took down the bed. You cannot help that instinct. I mean, if you look over the top of some buildings, I look over the top, it's cool. Others, whoa, I didn't like that look. I don't feel good near the edge. So anybody can be had. I was had, but the thing is, I want to know that the person, can talk yourself. It's okay to be afraid, even as a test pilot, but you need to be able to don't freak out. Continue to fly the aircraft, do what you have to do, and get back to work. And things usually work out well.
When you're looking down at the Earth during orbit, was there a specific landmark, a geographical thing that you really appreciated even more by seeing it from space?
No, not specifically. There is one area that I did kind of fall in love with. Over Egypt, in one eyeball full, you can see the entire history of civilization as we reckon it. There's the Tigris Euphrates, the Fertile Crescent. There's where Moses was born. There's where Jesus was born. There's where Muhammad was born. Wow, one eyeball full. That's cool. We go around the Earth, every hour and a half, and we go around the exact center of the Earth and right back to the exact same spot relative to the center of the Earth. During that hour and a half, the Earth rotates 1,100 miles underneath us. So we're basically pinstriping the entire Earth. And I'll do that for the first 45 minutes in the sunlight, and the Earth keeps rotating underneath of us. So if I'm watching some area, the last day on orbit, we've all got our heads out the overhead windows, watching this Fertile Crescent where Jesus was around. And if I watch it at 4 in the afternoon, well, an hour and a half later, at 5:30, I'm going to see it at twilight or late evening. And then an hour and a half later, I'll go to see it at twilight. So you see almost everything in different sun, if you're watching and paying attention from that perspective. And I just love it. That's my favorite thing to do is just watch this gorgeous Earth down below me.
So what was your first meal back from your trip, and did it take any time to readjust to Earth-based food that wasn't prepared for space?
I don't remember, so it was normal. I remember on orbit, I was really looking forward to, I missed my wife, missed the kids. I wanted a greasy hamburger, and I wanted a shower, because we didn't have a shower on board. You clean, like you would in Winnebago, face cloth and whatever, but it's just, I don't remember the meal, and absolutely not. I was back to normal, I think, the next day. I was jogging the next day. Only 1 week on orbit.
We're obviously seeing a whole new generation of astronauts come forth right now, going back to the moon, and then eventually those that are children right now going to Mars. What inspires you about the next generation and what they're going to accomplish?
I go to these technical reviews, and they go through what they're doing, what their plans are, and they just have, oh man, I wish I was 35 to start all over again. I mean, when we first got to the office, there were still the guys from Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo there. I don't remember who said it, but one of them said, I don't know what you guys think you're going to do in space. You've already done it all. Yeah, right. Okay, There is so much cool stuff going on. I mean, we're going to the moon within 3 years. Number one is on the pad right now. We'll be at Mars in 35, plus or minus a couple of years, but I think we're going. The only thing that stops us is the budget, but then Elon Musk could probably find a way to get the budget going anyway. I mean, we're international now, and part of our prestige is involved in internationally hanging together. That's exciting times.
Okay, what was cool about this experience is got an autographed 8x10 from the astronaut, as well as a coin saying that you got to meet an astronaut. And I met an astronaut at Kennedy Space Center. Really cool experience. If you have the opportunity to head down to Kennedy Space Center and do chat with an astronaut, highly recommend it. It is 100% worth it. You get a great experience, especially if you have young ones that just aspire to be in the space industry, whether they want to be an astronaut or something else. It's just a really cool experience to have that private time with an astronaut. Okay, obviously I would not still be here without your support, and I cannot thank everyone enough. I mean, when I went to bed the other night after posting that video of asking for help to stay here, to not just witness this launch, but to just learn more and continue to learn more and experience it and provide you with coverage of it, I did not expect to wake up to what I woke up to, and that is thanks to you. A tremendous thank you. I'm just going to start listing it out. Alex, just thank you for being such a supportive wife as well. Mom, Dad, huge thank you. My Dog's Paws has been huge just to get me here. I cannot thank My Dog's Paws enough, so just make sure you support that business. Aunt Judy, Aaron, Michelle, Scott, Penny and Mike, Joey, Kelly, the Mandel family, Max, Mags, Matt, I have a Filipino brother from another mother, Jessica, Debbie, Jonah, Maria, Owen, Troy, Catherine, Boyd, Brandon, Carrie, Jason, Becca, Brandon E, AK2B brother, Michelle, Heather, Steven, Amy, Cody, Glenn, Scott, Kathy, Josh, Brian, Scott, Harriet, Mariana, Steven, Mark, Caitlin, Kyle, Roberta, Liam. Just thank you. I had to read off a list because I didn't want to forget anybody. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm going to have more. I'm going back to Kennedy Space Center tomorrow and talking with another astronaut. So thanks again for watching, and thanks for keeping me here, and let's go to the moon!